Hello, welcome back to Jesse's Vintage Garage. And we're working on the other 68 Bonneville now. And we're just getting the engine ready to tear apart the bottom end here. So I got the base nuts off right now. And then we're going to start pulling components on this and see how far we get. Working on splitting the cases and all that stuff involved. So let's get started here. On the primary side here, we got the posi drive screws all loose here. We're going to work on taking these acorn nuts off here in the front, and then we'll pull the primary cover off and see what that looks like inside.
Gasket sticking. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Well, imagine that. There's no oil in there.
Wow, it looks really nice in there.
Yeah.
That's about what the other 68 looked like when we opened it up.
Yeah.
So all this stuff needs to come apart.
Yeah.
But as we're doing it, we're gonna check stuff over. But yeah, I mean, look at how this one nuts like way out. This one's like in ways, and this one's about halfway between the two of these two.
Oh, that's not right.
So it might be out of what do you call it?
Wasn't set correct.
Yeah, that's that right. Unless if it is set right and that's how far off it is, that'd be weird
If
too.
something's wrong, like this is bent.
Right.
It's into there, it comes back. Almost all of them are gone.
All right. This is missing the little black hose that goes from here to that clip, and then drops oil right onto the chain right here, or into the teeth down there, and the sprocket, front sprocket.
Lubricates the chain.
Yeah, most, like he was saying, most of them are always missing or are damaged or ruined in some way or another. But this is all looking nice and cleaned up. It's not all like glued together with stuff like people like to do. And this is looking pretty good down here, because I remember one of the Triumphs we worked on, it was all like reworked so it'd work again. Remember how that was like puttied or whatever on that one?
Yeah, they like put JB weld.
Remember if that was the 71 or something? But
yeah, 71.
But then, well, yeah, we can't check this because we don't have a clutch cable hooked up over there.
We'll
So
have to use some.
yeah, so it's not a big deal. We're gonna take it apart here and just see what we got. The stator here looks really nice.
Yeah, it's dated.
Yeah, I was trying to see if there was a date there.
There it is, right here.
1267.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, 1267.
Yep. So that tells us that this was an early 68.
Well, according to the VIN.
1267?
Yeah.
That's a mid-year, because they start in like somewhere around July.
Okay.
And
So 68 was already going.
yeah, oh
By
yes.
December, it was probably a good couple months into production. So
Yeah.
68 was, so.
They didn't ship them then.
No.
But that's when they
But-
were being made.
According to the VIN on this engine and the other 68, it's about 1,000 numbers different, if I remember right. And the other one, I think, is just a little bit later or something. Whatever, I'll look it up. But,
Yeah, it's later.
but
This
not
is
much,
earlier.
not much different. Well, the primary cover over here, the outer primary cover. If you remember in the other 68 restoration, we were talking about how it was missing the pointer. Well, this one's missing the pointer also. So, for some reason, these earlier bikes or something didn't have the pointer yet for timing. And yeah, it's just because later the 71 had it, 72 has it, and my 77 has it. But anyway, and it's a real Triumph one because it's got the casting number T120R right here.
Yeah, it's a real cover.
So yeah,
And it's got the window. It should have it.
yeah, exactly. And that would be like to where you could line it up with this mark right here on the
With a electronic timing light.
yeah, with the timing light, like he's saying. So Yeah, so there's kind of a crossroads here. You can, as you're rebuilding an engine like this, there's two ways to go here. If you're not familiar with the transmission and stuff, and you don't know how the condition of the bushings and stuff are, it makes sense to go into it. If you know the transmission is good and you have a bottom end problem only with the crank, then you just need to take a couple pieces off the transmission, and then you can pull that part.
Yeah, you got to take this cover and this cover off. But you could leave all that on, because the reason you have to do that is because you have to get this cover off, because there's two bolts under here that hold the crankcases together under here. That bolts through this cover. And so you got to take it apart. And yeah, so it's
Well, with just the history of this motor having a bottom end noise, we're not going to take any chances. We're going to go in and split it.
we're going to split it all.
So we're going to have to do that. In our situation,
And we want to check the brass. The brass. There's one on this side that runs on the lay shaft, and there's one on this side on the lay shaft. You know them brass. What do you call those?
like a washer with the grooves in it.
Yeah, with the grooves in it for oiling. And then there's a Torrington bearing.
Yeah,
thrust washer. And then there's a Torrington bearing that thrust washer on the inside goes over with a little keeper or a little pin that holds it in place.
Yeah.
There's a Torrington in there, and we want to check. You know, if you don't tear the transmission all apart, you have no idea what that stuff's like. So
Yeah. I mean, and the primary looks really good, but we can't really trust the speedometer, because the speedometer looks like it's had some better days too, though. But anyways, but with our situation, yeah, we're gonna be taking the transmission all apart. But like I was saying, if you know your transmission is good, you just have a bottom end noise, you probably don't need to tear the tranny all apart. But I'm just saying that this is where we're at on that.
in our case, we're gonna.
Yeah, in our case, we're gonna. So I guess we're gonna probably pull this group off, and then we'll come over here. We'll probably just pull the idler gear out, because it's gonna fall out if we move it around anyway. It doesn't matter if it was. I think it was timed, but I didn't pay attention to
It don't matter. It only lines up every 97th revolution.
So the timing doesn't matter.
We'll time it. You know, it don't matter.
So, yeah. Actually, taking this apart with the couple tools that I got with this bike. Nice thing about this wrench in particular is it's a thin wall around the 12 point there, and it has to be for this particular purpose right here, because there isn't much room in there for a big wrench. We have all kinds of Whitworth tools, but it's kind of interesting that I'm using the tools like the guy gave me with the bike. So that's long-winded, as you can see. I'll work on getting this out the rest of the way, along with this one down here. And then this one over here is short. It's ready to come off already anyway. And this is the first step here. We'll get this taken apart. And the wire looks good in this. It comes all the way to the bottom here. It's there. It's all there. So that's a good sign, because it's a pain in the butt to splice these. But it's doable, but still pain in the butt. With nuts removed over here, I moved on to taking these nuts out of the primer here. And now that you've passed it's out of the ways, you can use a big screwdriver to take it out. Otherwise, we're using a special tool here that you use to take that out with. Gotta get that out, yeah.
That one's you gotta back out further.
All right. Cover removed here, and then we're gonna get the cush, see what the cush drive looks like. We're gonna work on taking that out. Then we gotta go over here and take this one off.
You gotta have a tool that fits that.
All right, so we took the main nut off there. It was 7/8, which was kind of surprising, because I thought it was the big one, the big Whitworth. And then, yeah, anyways, we got that off. We got the clutch out. Of course, you see the discs and the friction plates and the bonded plates all out. And then we're working on taking the cush drive off. Then we should be able to pull this out. We got to make sure when we pull this stator part out, we got to have this unhooked. And the best way to get to that is this being like out of the way a little bit, because it's really hard to get on there with a wrench or a socket.
don't want to tighten it until you have it. You want to make sure you use all the threads you can.
Yeah, otherwise you end up ripping it out. Thread.
Put the threads on one or the other or both. See, look at there.
Yep.
Then we pull this in. Now when we tighten this up, it's going to pop the whole thing off as assembly.
Yeah, 'cause it's on the taper, right?
Right.
We have this wire sleeve removed, but we're getting the wire's getting caught up in there, so we don't want to ruin the wire yet. So,
Yeah, because it's a good alternator, probably.
yeah, so we just held off on that for a little bit. We were able to get to it once we got the clutch hub out and the drum and all that stuff. I mean, and now we're getting ready to pull this sprocket here.
Where's the...
No, when we took that nut out, the stud came out with it, so.
This sprocket will actually come out pretty easy. Should. It should.
I saw it moving already. I just...
Yeah, it's moving. As long as we don't get the chain caught. Put that on.
Yeah, we gotta watch these studs coming out too, so I'll get caught on those.
Yeah, it already is.
Yeah, it don't look like it.
Yeah, it was.
Okay. Okay, got the right wrench now.
Oh, I got the right one.
Look at that.
A little big, but it'll work.
There we go.
Another deal here.
Yeah, I'll work on backing this stuff out. Yep. Well, here we are. We got the primary pretty much all disassembled. The chains off. The doors open here. We pulled out the stator wire. There's this vent hose back here that was keeping that wire bound and tightened up against the wall here, and it made it hard because the wire is starting to get hardened. So it makes it kind of difficult to manipulate it. But I bet when it was brand new and soft, it would have probably went right in easy, you know. And it might be easy going in now that we have it.
The vent hose is hard too.
And we got it removed without damaging it, from what I can tell.
See,
Well,
this is hard too.
Yeah, it's hard as well. Yeah, and that's all in the right length and the right shape, and just ready to be hooked back up. So I mean, we'd like to keep it kind of good if we can. But okay, then we're gonna clean up a little bit here, and then we'll talk about the parts that we've taken off so far, and what they look like, and what I probably need to replace or for sure keep. Oh, so we come to the end of the video here. We took all this apart now. We're getting ready to go into it deeper, but we're gonna move on to something different for now. We gotta work on some other things. So this will probably be the last video for a little while. Anyway, with that being said, we want to talk about the parts here at the end. I wanted to do that. The drum here that holds the discs and the clutch discs and stuff. It's got some wear on the teeth here. It probably needs to be replaced because it's awful pointed on some of these teeth, and they kind of got like a hook shape to them in some of them. And then there's just like wear on the sides here, like this. If you can kind of see that, that's probably not good either. We did have all the bearings were all in there this particular time on this bike, this engine, and the hub. This is the hub, and it looks like the splines and stuff are in really good shape. But the one thing that's wrong with this, and you usually replace these, but this isn't good. It's supposed to fold into there and actually hold in place.
The dogs are almost wore down. They fit in these two big holes.
So then, what with that being happening, it wants to move a little bit until it starts working.
And plus, the inside hole diameter is grown because it's it's not supposed to do this.
And that was doing that.
Yeah.
So with that group done, we're going to talk about the cush drive now, which looks pretty good. It looks like it's been touched or messed with because these screws here look like they have some damage to them. So it looks like somebody's been in the cush drive, maybe replaced the cushions and stuff. And otherwise, it looks like it's in good usable shape though. It ain't leaking. The rubber isn't coming out of it or anything. So we're good there. Our stator stuff, our alternator stuff. Now this piece here, you want to look for any sort of cracks. What will happen is you'll see lines and stuff coming out, which looks like it's cracking, and it's got oil seeping inside the cracks. So it's not splitting anywhere that we see. So this isn't in good shape yet, and it's probably the correct one for the engine because we found earlier in the video we pointed out that it was a 67 date on it. So that's nice to know and see. The stator itself is in good shape. The wire's in good shape. It's a little on the hard side, but it'll still work. And otherwise, this stuff, the laminating isn't coming apart or nothing either. So, which is a good shape, good deal. And well, there's nothing wrong with this. It's just laying here. But of course, we'll replace the seal when it goes back together and all that stuff, and the gasket. So, anyway. The chain and the stuff for the primary looks pretty good, and so did the front sprocket. Otherwise, that's pretty good parts here so far. So I hope you enjoyed everything in this video. We'll get back at working on the 68 here coming up, but we got some other things. Like I said, we got some other things we want to work on, and we'll see you again soon in a different video.